that Rolex watches are expensive, and it costs an absolute minimum of several $1,000s for even the most affordable models. But what exactly is it about them that makes them cost so much? Well, for starters, Rolex is easily the world's most famous luxury manufacturer, and the watches that they produce are universally recognized status symbols that are synonymous with quality, success, and exclusivity. This level of recognition and acclaim does not come cheap, but more important than brand recognition is the simple fact that Rolex watches are some of the best timepieces in the entire world. Built from only the finest materials on Earth and offering expert levels of craftsmanship and engineering, Rolex watches are designed and manufactured entirely in-house, often incorporating state-of-the-art materials and technologies that you won't find from any other brand. Beyond that, Rolex are known for their legendary reliability, and they have a long-standing reputation for outliving their owners and serving members of a family for multiple generations. Some manufacturers produce more complex and elaborate models than Rolex, but when it comes to a luxury watch that you can wear all day, every day, a Rolex is second to none. This level of incredibly high quality helps explain why no Rolex watch will ever be cheap, but what about the mega expensive ones that you hear selling about for millions of dollars at auction? Generally speaking, whenever you hear about some ultra-expensive Rolex, there's a fairly good chance that it is a rare or highly collectible vintage model. In fact, if you looked at a list of the most expensive Rolex watches of all time, pretty much all of them are vintage references, and this is because vintage models are inherently less common than their modern counterparts. Over the years, Rolex has continued to increase its production, so the brand is actually manufacturing a lot more watches today than it was back in the 1950s or 60s. On top of that, it's only been within the last several decades that Rolex has made the transition towards being a flat-out luxury brand. Because of this, many of the watches that were originally purchased years ago were worn as tools rather than luxury items, and they were either lost, damaged, or otherwise destroyed over the years, further decreasing the number in existence today. Adding to the collectability of vintage Rolex watches is the fact that Rolex's production process was way less consistent back then. Today, nearly every single example of a given reference will be largely identical, but decades ago it was not uncommon to have a wide range of small variations in regards to the dials, hands, bezels, and cases that were fitted to watches. For some of the more unusual variations, there may only be a small handful of examples in existence, and this can mean sky-high prices if it's a model that's particularly desirable to collectors. Lastly, provenance is also a big X factor and a big part of the reason why watches like Paul Newman's Daytona or Marlon Brando's GMT are worth millions is simply because of who they used to belong to. Now, another thing that you've probably noticed is that there are many used Rolex watches that are more expensive than brand new ones, and this is simply due to a lack of availability at a retail level. For example, a brand new stainless steel Daytona retails for $13,150, but there's simply no way to buy one brand new without spending a significant amount of time on a waiting list. Therefore, should you wish to skip the line and buy a steel Daytona without the wait, the open market price for that same watch is currently between 2 and 3 times its official retail price. That's right, the current price of a used stainless steel Daytona is, on average, 200 to 300% more than what you'll pay for the exact same watch if purchased brand new. But of course, you can't simply get a Daytona brand new, hence why prices on the secondary market are so much higher than their original retail values. And it's just like this for many Rolex's top models, although not quite to the same extent. The actual value of a Rolex is often far more than what it originally cost to buy it. Luxury watches are inherently expensive, there's no denying that. But when you compare the price of a Rolex to models made by other top manufacturers, the actual cost isn't all that high, at least not by comparison. For example, you can get your hands on a stainless steel Rolex sports watch for around $10K. A stainless steel sports watch from Patek or AP will typically set you back at least 3 times as much at retail and will cost much more on the open market. Additionally, although Rolex is by no means the world's most expensive watch manufacturer, they are easily the most famous, and a $10,000 Rolex will likely be more recognizable to most people than a $50,000 Patek Philippe. It's often said that Rolex watches hold their value better than almost any other luxury timepiece, and this amazing ability to serve as a wearable investment is also the exact same reason why Rolex watches are so expensive. Even the most humble used Rolex models cost a minimum of several $1,000s, but this is still a small price to pay for an internationally recognized status symbol that is built to last a lifetime. Thanks for watching our video on why Rolex watches are so expensive. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can stay up to date on our latest video